Come on now. Don't act that way. Don't act that way. I told you already, it's not you, it's me. I just feel like, we kind of grew apart. If I'm being completely honest, I just feel like that I really didn't have any freedom with you, the freedom that I would like to have, I felt like you were just so attached. And to be honest with you, like, it just seemed like in every situation, you just got heated, I mean, you didn't just affect me, but it seemed like you burnt everyone you came in contact with. I can't have that, You're causing issues with me and the people that I'm trying to connect with and build with. And it just seems like, like I was growing and you weren't growing with me. So I just felt like, it was time that we take a break. Yes, I know that it's been over 20 years since I seen you. And maybe you have changed. I don't know. All I know is, I feel like I've moved on in this relationship. Yes, I understand that if it wasn't for you, I probably would not be where I'm at today. I get that. But there again, I grew and you stayed the same. I guess I'd be willing to try it out again, but I'm just gonna tell you right now, I'm only willing to try this relationship out for a very limited time. And if it doesn't work and I see that you have the same issues that you had when we were together, 28 years ago, I'm gonna have to cut you loose. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. All right. I will admit, you were my first love. I have always had a thing for you. But there again, if you can't work with me, I can't work with you. So we'll just see what happens.
So this right here is the reason why my wife always wants me to get a mohawk, because the day I proposed to her, I was rocking a mohawk. Fun fact.
What's up, YouTube? What a wonderful day to be alive. So tonight we are going to answer the challenge from Rum Barber on the first clipper challenge. And the idea is to find the very first pair of clippers that you cut with and cut with them again to see if it's the barber or the clipper. So it's been a long time since I used these clippers. I don't know the name of them. They're just some old black and white wall clippers, plastic corded clippers that I actually had a pair of these 28 years ago. A family in my neighborhood bought them for me, I believe from Walmart, just to, give me something to cut their kids' hair with. That's how I started cutting hair, and obviously graduated from those clippers since then. However, we're going to see if they can still put in work 28 years later. I had a very difficult time finding these clippers, but obviously Amazon has anything and everything if you search long enough. So I kept searching, found these black and white clippers, and we just gonna put them to work. Now I will tell you right off the rip, they get hot as fire very quick, and the guards on them are horrible. They kept popping off and vibrating, so I decided to not use them for this haircut. And I just want to give a shout out to my man Matt Gifted Hands for being my model for this challenge. He was willing to sit down in the chair and let me try things out on him, so I appreciate that. So this is not going to be necessarily a tutorial. However, I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing with this black and white wall clipper. We started out doing the first guideline with the clipper closed, no guard. Then I jumped right in with the number 1 guard open. Then I went into a number 2 straight off the parietal ridge. He wants a pretty wide mohawk. So we went ahead and did that number 2 close right off the ridge. And then I came in with the number 1 open, just blending into that number 2. Actually, I think I put it at 1.5 guard on there, went into the number 2, and then a 1 open into that 1.5, just kind of doing a fade down technique. After establishing those guidelines, now I have the number 1 closed, just blending into the 1 open, and then I'll end up taking that 1 guard off and using a half guard around that dark line there, and just try to blend that in a little bit better. And then I'll take that guard off and go just to open blade, and then I'll close it as needed to remove that bottom line. I will say this, Matt's hair with any clippers that I use, it is challenging because as you can see towards the back of that mohawk, he has a lot of dips in his head, which create shadows. And it doesn't matter what guards you go over it with, as you go over his head on those dips with a guard, it'll look lighter in some spots where the bone is kind of raised, and it'll look darker in that dip area, that like crevice area. So we'll have to go in with shear over comb, blending shear over comb, or just with the teeth of the guard or blade to tap in those dark areas to try to blend that out. Usually I can't get it to blend from every angle, and what I mean by that is you can look at it from one angle and it looks very symmetrical, it looks blended very well, and then you can turn him and you can see from a different angle that you still see that shadow in that dip area. And that just, it happens sometimes. There's really no way to get around that. You can keep working on it. My fear when I do that though is that from a different angle, then it'll look too light if I keep tapping in that dark area. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but there again, my main goal in this haircut is just to have a clean, consistent, blurry fade, a good transition, and sometimes, man, with these dips and crevices, and also, you know, his hair has just spots. If you can see, it's kind of spotty, dark in areas, light in other areas. So I have to use a lot of the teeth and corners of the blade just to flick at those dark spots to try to bring some kind of consistency where it looks like it's an even flow of just a gradient, you know. So it'll take a little bit to work on that. There again, not doing a real barber tutorial tonight, just mainly wanting to see if, you know, just like Rum Barber said, you know, can we still cut with the clippers that we first started with? And it was kind of crazy, man, having these clippers in my hand again. Back in the day, I thought these clippers were like all that, man. I was like, these clippers are the bomb. And obviously, you know, 28 years later, with cordless clippers and more powerful clippers, and even clippers like the Corded Wall Senior, man, it just elevated my game. And as far as, you know, just having that power to mow through hair and things like that. But anyways, it was definitely a fun challenge. I will say that after this haircut, I'm gonna have to break up once again. These clippers more than likely are going into the trash, or I may give them away. I mean, they're only like 25 bucks. I don't know if anybody would want them. If you want them, comment below, send me your address, maybe in my Instagram DM, and I'll just mail them out to you. If you're a new barber that has no clippers and you just need something, maybe we can make something happen for you. But I definitely, you know, they get the job done, but they do get hot quick, and they're just not a professional grade clipper. However, as you can see, this fade is starting to come together. You know, in that faded area on the bottom, the blend looks nice and clean. There again, we have some dark spots that I have to keep working at, you know. And like I said, even with the best clippers that I've got, a lot of times it's very challenging to get Matt's faux hawk or mohawk to blend like I want it to, simply because of the dark spots. But not as much the dark spots as the dips in the back of the head towards the back of the mohawk, kind of back behind that ear. You can see where that bone is kind of protruding, and it gives like a light spot, and then where it dips down and it gives that darker spot where I'm working at. Not right now, but I'll tell you in a minute where I'm working. But anyway, so I'll come in with my shear over comb, and I just kind of use that to soften up any harsh lines or tap at any dark spots that I see to give it a better blend. And you know, it doesn't matter ultimately what kind of clippers you use. If you know how to use other tools, you can lay a good foundation with any clipper and then come in with shear over comb or blending shear over comb and just, you know, soften that fade up a little bit, take out any dark spots that you see, and you know, do the best that you can. So right in this area right here is where I'm having a real challenge on his head, because I want to keep that consistent arc look, you know, like an arch look going from the back, you know, all the way up around the parietal ridge area. But in that back area, man, that dark spot's a challenge, so I'll have to come back in a little bit later and work on that. I'm not going to spend all my time focused on that. However, that is a challenge. But I did want to give a shout out to Rum Barber. You know, I appreciate this challenge, man. I know it was something that, you know, you wanted to see if you could do, and you put the challenge out there to other barbers, and it was a fun challenge, man. I really enjoyed it. Now I'm coming in with the clipper over comb, and you know, just kind of curving this mohawk in a little bit. We want it to stay fat and wide. However, we do want it to kind of curve in, so that way whenever he throws product in there, it still has that kind of faux hawk shape. Don't want to take a whole lot off, because we do want to keep it fatter, but we do want to just kind of round those edges off a little bit. And I just like doing that with clipper over comb. Make sure we get any of those long hairs that may be hanging over. So we did the same thing to the other side. And I promise you I used the clippers all the way through. I was going to show you both sides of the cut, but I didn't want the video to be too long. But we went ahead and styled it. And then he asked me if we could go ahead and throw a little, clean up his eyebrows and throw a part in his eyebrow. So I do that. However, I didn't record that either. So now I'm coming in with that blending shear there again, just tapping at those dark spots, trying to get in that little crevice I was telling you about. But overall, this is the finished product. Rum Barber, I hope you like it. All my people in YouTube, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. Make sure you like, subscribe if you have not, and follow me on Instagram, S.Craft_blends. Peace.